Everybody, this is Rahul and welcome to the Chaos Gym. Today we have William Herrmann who placed second at Arizona Regionals with Trev Break. Hi Will, how you doing?
Doing good, man.
Alright, so for those of you who don't know Will, I'll let him introduce himself and talk about him a little bit.
I'm William Herrmann. I like to play Trevenant and ruin everyone's day. Uh, I've been playing for like 2, 3 years now. I've always kind of just like been consistently mediocre, a couple top 8 at regionals here and there, and then finally I got my second place. Hoping this year is going to be my breakout year.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll see.
So, like he just said, he top cut with Trevenant. He made it to second place, which is pretty impressive in a field of Evatol. Uh,
Actually, not that much Evatol. I was surprised. I feel like a lot of people thought there was going to be a lot of Evatol and switched to Night March at the last second. And as we'll go over later, I played a lot of Night March.
which should be pretty free for you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I guess before we get into most of this stuff, like your actual tournament, let's talk about how Arizona, your whole experience at Arizona was, just as a nutshell. First,
So Arizona was actually miserable. Um, so we get to the venue at like 8 o'clock. We wait 45 minutes to get into the venue alone. That's ridiculous.
yeah, that's insane.
And then, so I didn't pre-register. So I went into like the register and like you have to spend an extra $10 to do that.
Sure,
But
yeah, right.
I was through that line before they did like even half of the pre-registers. So that was also really dumb. So I was just waiting at the tournament venue for my friends. Um, let's see. So the tournament didn't start till around 11 o'clock. Uh, Awful. And it didn't end till 1.
Yeah,
There was way too much time between rounds. Um, and yeah, that sums up the miserable Arizona
a
experience.
lot of time probably because you're a Trevenant player, so you finish your games in like 10 minutes anyway.
True.
So I guess yeah, that's pretty much Arizona in a nutshell. I guess we'll go straight into your tournament report. Let's talk about day one. Day one, what was your final record? Any interesting and cool matches you played throughout the day that like stick out to you?
Okay, so day one, first round to play against Yvetol. And I'm just like, oh, great. This is gonna be fun. It actually wasn't that bad. As I figured out later, it was actually a Darkrai Giratina, which is actually worse because that Darkrai destroys you
Right,
because you
because it can
can't.
just smack you.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is you like do 60 and then you get like 30 on them from like Silent Fear or something.
Hmm.
And usually if that's against Yveltal, you're like, okay, well I'll just return with Wobbuffet and that's a knockout and I'll wipe all your energy and try to win from there. But
Hmm.
that doesn't work with Darkrai because it has psychic resistance, as I
Right.
figured out halfway through round 1. So that was awful. I
Yikes.
lose game 1. Game 2, I go Phantom Poly Trevenant. I win that.
That's bad.
And then game 3 was weird. He takes a lot of early prizes. Uh, I get to a point where he kind of has all his energy invested in one attacker. I don't really remember which it is, but I have 2 energy on a Mewtwo, and I need him to attack into the Bursting Balloon Trevenant that's active, and I like end him to 2 or 3, and I'm like, okay, your turn. And he gets the Lysander, his only one in his deck, and it's like his 20-30 card deck or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, I'm not supposed to win this matchup anyways. I guess I'll just be unlucky.
Yeah.
Um, Not that you can call the rest of my run unlucky,
No.
but so yeah, that's what happened game 1. Game 2 was I don't actually remember. That complete blank.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
know I played 2 Yvetol the whole day, and I know every single one of my rounds, so I'm gonna assume my second round was a Yvetol too. Um, I actually ended up winning that. Can't tell you how. Magic.
Gotta get a
Uh,
little lucky.
but generally, your strategy going into that matchup is you kind of want to fall down on you're going to fall behind on prizes and you want to just kind of like spread damage and like force them to use resources that they need in order to keep on attacking you. And then finally you can hit them with like an N or something and like try to get an enhanced hammer flare grunt and just like kind of lock them out of the game from there.
Sure.
Um, that's how you played Trevenant, actually just when going second in general. So round three I played against, I have it pulled up. Oh, Rainbow Road. But something interesting about this matchup is I was actually terrified because I had been playing against Can2, and I'm like, oh, this matchup's free. But no, he like we go 1-1 and both of them were like really close the games. And so like I'm terrified. And I actually had a decklist error, so I have a game one loss against her, my opponent.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah. So I go first, set up Trevenant. I do degenerate things. I won pretty handily, and because my opponent isn't named Brandon Cantu, I also won game two pretty handily. But so that was round two, and then for the next round, I play against Kiana Meany. For those of y'all who know what that is, I was scared shitless. I thought he was playing dark like he usually does, and then he flips over a Night Marcher, and I'm like, oh, thanks for the win. Time for revenge from regionals 2 years ago. So I don't feel like I need to describe any Night
No,
March
it's
matchups.
pretty
No?
free.
Yeah, so that's my first Night Marcher of the second day. Second next round against Will Stevens. I believe he was another Night Marcher. Um, so yeah, that was pretty free. Next round against Tan Richardson, Night Marcher number three. And then finally I get something not Night March in the form of Seismitoad Garatina.
Ah,
So still a free matchup. I mean, basically what you end up doing is just discarding their special energy and then
yeah.
like you can keep on like when they can't attack you just via Seeker for more flare grunts and 06 or whatever. And then you just eventually run them out of energy. Same idea behind the Toad Bats matchup.
Okay.
Um, so and that's how I played it, and I won handily 2-0. At this point, it was already 9, 10 o'clock. Way too late for me to have 2 rounds left. So although I kind of wanted to play them out, I rather like just de-stress. Like I knew I wasn't going to be playing to my max ability this late at night, especially since it felt even later because I had just moved time zones.
Right, right.
Yeah. So, like it might have been 10, but like for me it felt like 12. And that's my bedtime. So my body started shutting down and I'm like, okay, I gotta try to ID the next 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So I play against Calvin, the Diancie Fairies that made it through. And I'm like, hey man, you want to ID? I'm really not feeling this. And we ID'd, which is a good thing because we played one play game and he destroyed me. I like discarded 3 Trevenants turn one.
Was there anything cute in his deck or something? I don't know.
Oh my God, his deck was ridiculous. He played he played like literally every fairy attacker known to man. He played a Sylveon EX for the Trevenant matchup, so he could hit that 60
So
or, and then like heal the 50 on the bench or whatever. And I'm like, what the hell, dude?
that's insane.
Yeah. You played Xerneas like EX, like the one that does like 140 for 4 energies or does 60-30 snipe. Um he played Aerobatis, he played the Diancie line. He played I think at least 2 or 3 fan clubs.
Oh
Uh
boy.
yeah. His deck was ridiculous. Um but that was an ID.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then next round, I play my eventual top eight opponent, Michael Slutsky. And I'm just like, you want ID? And he's like, maybe. And then we flip for it, and I'm going first. And I'm like, do you want ID now? And he's like, yes, yes, I do.
Yeah, that matchup seems like a pretty big toss up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was all around funny experience. So by this time it's like 1, so to me it feels like 3 in the
Dang.
morning.
Hmm.
I was basically falling asleep between rounds, my last two, uh, just to show how tired I was. Good thing I didn't have to play them out because I'm sure they would have been ridden with misplays. Um, so went home. Next day, actually showed up late to the venue, 15 minutes late. Thought we're Cantu and I were driving to the venue from Jeremy's house. We thought we were going to get a round 1 loss, but we didn't because they were that behind. So we just like we walked in right as people were sitting down for their pairings, and we're just like, "Hey, sometimes lucky, dude."
Nah, I know like
Uh,
sometimes organizers will, I guess, wait for everybody, but it seems like they were just
yeah, no, they were just late.
yeah.
Um, so day 2, round 1, I play against TJ, who's playing Sableye Guard, and I'm thinking this is gonna be free. Thanks for more great matchups. Not actually free because he played the Latias EX. For those of y'all who don't know what it does, basically it's not affected by damage or any effects of attacks by Pokemon with ability, which conveniently includes Trevenant and Shaman. So,
And Wobbuffet.
oh yeah, well I mean Wobbuffet shuts it down, but
Well, yeah. All you have in that matchup is your Mewtwo.
yeah. Um,
Okay.
so I think he goes first. Um, my game 1 is awful. Like, he literally gets a Garbodor set up before I get a Trevenant set up. Like, that is how bad my setup is. I scoop within the first 5 minutes. I'm like, this is over. I'm done. Game 2, I just donk his Sableye with the Trevenant. He might have benched a couple other things, but it didn't last more than 4 to 5 turns. Then game 3 was actually super close and super interesting. I had a decent setup, but he went first. Um, I just kind of sat there silent fearing till I got rid of all of his like things on the bench like Sableyes, and I think I took 2 prizes that way. Um, so pretty good. And the idea is I just sit there on the bench and stack energy to my Mewtwo. So I got like 5-4 energy on that Mewtwo, and I ended him out of his giant hands because he'd been draw passing. Um, and I like retreat my Trevenant, and I go into Mewtwo, and I X-Ball for 80, 100, somewhere in there. And I'm like, okay, I'll finish it up with the side drive next turn. Um, that next turn, he manages to discard all but one of my energy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I'm just like, well, poop.
That's scary.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting there, 1 energy Mewtwo, and I like look at the field, look at my hand, and I'm still dead tired. I got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, I guess I'll just Lysander the Latias and I'll side drive it, and I don't know, I'll find a way to retreat the Mewtwo. Hopefully get my second Float Stone. I won't worry about it too much right now. Trevenant only needs 1 energy to attack. Um, but I didn't realize he replaced my D-Valley. So I Lysander the Latias.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm just like side drive, and he's like, "You can't." And I'm like, "Shit." I guess I'll X-Ball for 40, leaving your Latias with 40. No, no. Before I X-Ball, I try to retreat. And he's like, "No, I have an Aqua Base." I'm like, "No, damn it."
Yeah.
So that was bad. Um, so I X-Ball his Latias for 40. And he does degenerate things, discarding my energy, and I finally hit the Float Stone. Hit the Float Stone, retreat into Trevenant, and he he like went super aggro, like trying to discard all my energy. So he actually ended up benching enough prizes for me to win without knocking out the Latias.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there silent fearing, hoping to get a win, and he's like delaying the game, um, just trying to like Lysander up my Mewtwo and like just trying to stall me out. And it gets to the point where I have to top deck like a Float Stone, an Energy, or like my Sycamore to win. And I don't top deck any of them, so I just like lose. So even though like I misplayed super badly with the Aqua base, like it was still definitely a matchup in my favor and probably
Yeah,
one I shouldn't have lost.
yeah. Delios makes it a little weird, but
Yeah, but like they discarding 3 energy was insane, but
hmm
like it happens.
yeah.
So I lost that. Round two, I play against. I'm actually going to get these confused. Um, I think I played against Kyle Warden playing Night March. Um, Standard Night March. You set up Trevenant and then you win.
Yeah.
Nothing really special there. And then I play against. Again, I'm going to get these rounds mixed up, but I play against Jeremiah Williams playing Vespa Queen, and
hmm
that's basically just Night March 2.0. Although he, out of like all the little things attackers, I don't know what you just consider Night March and Vespa Queen, how you describe that. He played it, I feel, the best. Like he kept it the closest.
hmm
Um,
Vespa I
and
think has a better shot at beating you than Night March because if they go first, you can't really do degenerate things as fast.
yeah,
They
that makes sense.
yeah, but they have to go first.
Yeah. Well, he did go. He did go first. Oh, and game one was awful. So he goes first, and I start Jirachi, and I draw pass for 3 turns, and I lose.
Yeah,
So
that happens.
game two, I set up knock him out in 4 or 5 turns, and then game three, he actually gets super screwed over because he starts Jirachi, and like that's the only attacker he can't retreat or attack with. Like if it was a Shaman, he could have Sky Returned. If it was a Eevee or whatever else, he could have attacked.
Evolved, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I actually got super lucky because like I just kept on Lysandering that thing up, and just
Rip.
making sure he had the attachment energy to retreat it. And like I'm not sure if he didn't play AZ or he couldn't find it, but like something bad happened there. Um, so that was three of my rounds. What else did I play against? I honestly can't remember. Sorry, dude.
It's all right. You can just fast
Yeah.
forward to top 8 if you want.
Top eight. Oh, top eight. That was the match on stream. That was Oh, actually, speaking of stream, my winning in, I do remember one of the others was against a newer Rayquaza player. You could
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
a Kwani, I think was his name.
yeah. You could he made some questionable plays. He made
Yes.
it a little bit easier for myself. But that's kind of a bad matchup for him anyways. It's like evenish unless I run energy removal and I ran the double flare grunt, so
hmm
I think that counts as energy removal.
I think he had a
Um,
shot. From what I saw on stream, he like made a little bit of like he got like the hex one turn where he could have like killed you when you, like one of your 2 Trevenants on the board and he just didn't play it. And I was like, okay.
yeah, I don't know what he was thinking, but yeah, he like after he retreated the DCE Rayquaza, I'm like, this is over.
Yeah.
You're not gonna stick enough energy to ever knock me out.
I think the funniest part about chat was when a couple of people were like, "Oh, why doesn't Will play the D Valley? He's just attaching more energy." And I was like, "Well, I think Will wants those shamans on the board."
Yeah. That was exactly my idea. It would just it. I felt like I could stream enough Trevenants in order to knock out all those Shamans and Jirachis,
hmm
just because of how slow he was going at that point in time.
Yeah.
And as you'll later see when I have my deck list, because of the deck list error earlier on, I actually have 9 energy instead of 8, so it makes attaching to Trevenants a lot easier.
What was the card you were missing?
So it was actually a second Lysander. That's what I had originally written down. Looking back on it, it probably should have been a Zerosic,
hmm
something I didn't play. I didn't think it was going to be necessary. I'm like, well, Zerosic's usage just used to discard from the active anyways. But discarding tools and special energy on the bench is pretty useful. um, but yeah, so I'm sorry, last person I played in day two, but I'm drawing a blank. I'm sure it was a great match, or maybe not. Maybe you played Night March and I just won.
All right,
uh,
and so now you're in top 8, feeling
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah. And I play against a friend of mine, Michael Susky, guy I ID'd game one, or day one last round. And I thought honestly, going into it, I thought the matchup was going to be awful. I'm like, he plays Glade, so if he
Yeah.
sets that up, I kind of lose.
Three
If
C's.
three C's, the double colorless helps him attack with Rayquaza faster, or
Raikou.
Raikou faster, so that helps him out a lot. But in reality, it didn't go out that way. I ran really hot, so that helps. Um, but I think more importantly is it was hard for him to find and like keep attackers going. And like when he attacks into Bursting Balloon, like it was easier for me to stream my Trevenants than it was for him to stream his Raikous. And I
Right.
think that's why it's not that great of a matchup.
Hmm.
And like even if he found his rough seas, like so you delay it for a turn. I can also like discard energy and like make you attack into Bursting Balloon and like and looking back on it, because he can't or shouldn't bench eels because they get knocked out so quickly. Like if you miss that rough seas, like your eels are going to die.
Yeah.
Where like if it was something like Manetric, like you can miss your rough seas for 3, 4, 5 turns and
Uh,
just kind of sit there and dig for it, and like you're fine because they're so
Manectric things.
bulky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I mean, I feel like if he had gotten the Gallade out, it would have been a completely different match. But
Oh yeah,
he just
definitely.
didn't.
Exactly. Um, him not getting the Gallade was also super big for me. But he drew dead, and there's no denying that. And I drew really hot, and but I think that matchup was a lot closer than you'd think it would be.
Right. Yeah. I think. I
Yeah,
think. Yeah. I think he came in preparing for Trevenant, and with the
yeah,
Gallade and stuff. But on, but Trevenant does Trevenant things.
yeah, exactly. So my top four matchup against Gansman, that was that was a stomp. I also drew really well that game.
Hmm.
I game one, I go first, and I have it in hand. I have the Wallies, but when I Ultra Ball for my Jirachi, it's prize, and I'm like, well, I guess I can try to Shaman for it. This is fine. And then I Shaman for 3 or 4, and I'm just like, okay, didn't hit it this time. I play some cards. I summon or Ultra Ball and Shaman for another 3, and the last card is the Wallies, and I'm like, okay, I'll take it. This feels good. And I set up lock. There's just not a lot he can do after that. He didn't get really a turn to play his cards down, and his hand was kind of just full of rubbish from what I understand. So game one went by fairly quickly. Game two was actually a lot closer. He played it well. I know. I know he said that like he misplayed when he attached the energy to the water energy to
Hmm.
the seismic node. I don't actually think that was a misplay. I think that was the right call. I think because it's such a bad matchup, you just have to rely on me not having the Lysander
Yeah. Especially
because I
with you
don't
not
think
having one in the deck.
yeah, like I don't think he could have won the damage war because I would have before he could knock me out with Quaking Punch, I would have won by Silent Fear way
Hmm.
before that. I don't think he could have won the damage war without Grenade Hammering. And if he wouldn't attach that second water energy, he wouldn't have been able to Grenade Hammer. So I think that was the right call. And the pivotal turn was when I Lysander up the Jirachi. He's taken 4 prizes, I've taken 0. And what he does is he ends himself to 2 and actually gets the DCE to retreat it. So I'm just like, well, crap. But um, he ends me into double flare grunt. And I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, Gansman, but this is over.
Yeah.
So I just flare grunt him twice in a row, and then I proceed to take control from there. And I just silent fear for like 8 prizes in 1 turn or something stupid. Um, so that's how that went. And then there's the finals. Oh Lord.
I mean,
If y'all haven't watched, for anyone who's viewing this, if you haven't watched that yet, watch Game 3. It was something.
someone's got to get luckier than the other.
Just a little bit. Um, so Game 1, you again, y'all can all see this on stream, but Game 1, I destroy him. I like stream 3 bursting balloons in a row. Uh, I just run hot as hell. I get everything I need. Like Lys I think it is that the game of Lysander up as Froakie too? I
I
think it
think so,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
And they
like
choose to
that
end it.
is yeah, that is like stupid lucky, especially since I only run one, um, or was only running one. But yeah, I just like I run hot, and then game two, game two is the one I scooped. So a lot of people apparently I misplayed and like flare grunted instead of Wally's. I haven't watched the clip, but I'll believe them. I was really tired. That finals game was not my best play, or any of the games I was on stream was probably not my best play. Um, I played okay, but I'll believe it. I'll believe the misplay. But the reason I ended up scooping is I double phantom prize that game,
You
and
also
that was
or discarded a bunch of your resources early too, if I remember
yeah,
correctly, like two Trevenants and like two breaks or something.
yeah, that was that game. Yeah, I just had not great hands that game. Uh, so yeah, that was a stomp. I scooped. I'm like, I'll just take my time in game three and just kind of think it out. This will just give me a lot of breathing room. And then so game three comes along, and I don't remember the earlier mid game that much. Because
Just the last two turns.
yeah, those are the ones that really killed me. But I'd assume that I just kind of slowly choked him out of resources. And then so like people will be like, "Oh, it's the 1 in 5. He got so lucky off the prizes." That's not what ended me.
No.
The double Greninja break, the
Yeah.
double water energy, that destroyed
You
me.
ending him into double break, double energy teammates.
Yeah, like that was actually insane.
That was the turn that literally
Yeah.
probably lost you the game.
Yeah. And then when he sycamored into the fisherman too, because if he wouldn't have been able to find energy, I might have been able to crawl out of that. Because I think
Yeah.
maybe I think I'd already discarded 1 or 2 energy, and then he got the double energy, and I heard he ran splash. I'm not sure if he
I
actually ran
believe he
splash
did. I think it
energy.
was 8 and 2.
Oh, he ran a ton of energy. I thought he was only running like 6 or 8. Um, okay, that's a bit more reasonable then. But the fact that like you just hit all that ended it for me.
Yeah.
There just wasn't anything I could do, and I knew that, and I'm just like, I could play this out, or I could just concede. Like it was over.
And then him hitting the C's was kind of the icing on the cake. Like I don't think that was
Yeah.
like I thought about it and I was like, well, him hitting the C's here isn't as big, but if the game goes on like 2 or 3 more turns, then it's big. But
Yeah.
but you kind of
Um,
knew you were done because you got the fisherman.
yeah, the fisherman is what like really sealed the deal. Like if I had like gotten a couple more turns and then finally top decked an N or something,
Hmm.
um, like I might have actually been able to crawl out of that, especially if he drew dead, because I had like 1 or 2 D valleys left.
Hmm.
And then I would have been able to silent fear some more, and like as long as he didn't hit the energy, it would have been
Yeah,
okay.
you had a shot.
Yeah, but the fisherman, yeah, that's what killed me.
The double break, the double
Yeah,
energy turn, and then fisherman. The rough seas was just kind of a flashy play. I don't think it really changed much.
yeah. I mean, it was still infuriating. It was like
Yeah.
got punching me when he already kicked me in the ribs like 4 times, but
Yeah.
it's it's just salt in the wound, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that was my finals round. Um,
So overall second, not bad. First
yeah,
regionals this
not
season.
bad.
Starting off strong. How many points are you at now?
I'm at 172.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I got 160 for my win, and then I've gotten second out of LC so far. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Ray at LCs, and that doesn't do terribly well against fairies. It
Don't
beats
think so.
everything else, but
Really?
I feel like it does. Um, my teammates will call me bad and say I should play a better deck, but they didn't get second at Arizona Regionals, so
True there.
they only top 8 in Worlds and win regionals. Like that doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. Looks like we might be seeing a Dragon Raid deck at Orlando Regionals then.
Maybe, I don't know. I think there's also a lot of other strong decks. Like Yveltal's really good. I think Fairy's Gardevoir is really good. I'm not really sold on the Giratina variant, but Gardevoir is definitely. If people don't play Karen, Vespa Queen is amazing,
I know.
actually.
Trust me, I know. But I'm really scared of Karen.
Yeah.
But if not, then You guys can check out the other list I posted, which is really good,
Yeah.
with a Vaporeon line for Volcanion. It's good.
That actually sounds awesome.
It's dirty. It's dirty.
Yeah. And then there's secret decks everywhere. I've heard about so many things that like sound almost good, or maybe they are good, and maybe they'll stomp me come Orlando. But it's
Meta's
a
wide open.
yeah, it'll be interesting coming into Orlando.
All right, that pretty
Uh,
much wraps up almost everything. Do you have any shout-outs? Anything you want to conclude with?
Shout out to my team, I guess. Brad, Curcio, Max Armitage, Brandon Cantu. Um, Shout outs to Trevenant being an autopilot degenerate deck. That was awesome. Minimal thinking, maximum winning, you know. Um, yeah, that's about it.
All right, thanks, Will. We'll have the list at the end of the video in a little bit. So thank you everyone for watching, and congratulations, Will. We'll see you at Orlando.
Thanks, man. The whole interview again,
No,
or
no,
just that
just
segment?
yeah.
Okay.
So Will,
I mean,
tell
we
us.
can do the interview again. Take
All right.
two.
All right, so Will, tell us about a couple of small deck changes you would make from the list.
Okay, so for the most part, the list was very standard. But one thing I would like to add is red card. Uh, Red card really fits into the Trevenant strategy of like denying your opponent resources at crucial turns. Um, like it's really good against Greninja. When they Air Blitz or whatever Talonflame attack is called, they search for two cards, and you can just red card them out of it. And after that, you can tree slam. You can just really stop them from ever setting up and just win the game off of that. Um, let's see. Zero Sec is another card I would have liked to included. As I discovered throughout the tournament, two Flare Grunt just it was enough energy removal, but it wasn't flexible enough. There's a lot of times like my opponent would play Hex and then attach a Floatstone to Keldeo, so Lysander stalling would no longer be an option, or they would like attach a DCE to a bench Rayquaza or a bench Night Marcher or whatever, and like just really want to get rid of it, but like I didn't have a 06, so I couldn't. Um, so those are cards I really wanted to include. The cards
Sure.
I think you can cut would include Wobbuffet. So I know it's really good against Yveltal, but I feel Mewtwo serves a very similar purpose almost. Um, and I mean, it doesn't shut off abilities, but it definitely like helps you clean up large Yveltals or large Darkrai's or whatever.
Yeah, anything they stack energy on.
Yeah, Side Drive's a really good attack. Uh, and then X Ball is always in clutch.
Yeah, yeah.
And starting having one less basic means you get to start Phantom more often, which is always good. Not that I had any problems starting Phantom, but
I mean, you gotta get a little lucky to get second.
yeah, just a little. I only ran kind of hot, like lukewarm.
Yeah, lukewarm. Everything but your finals. It got you there.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not even that it wasn't running hot. It's just my opponent ran hotter.
Pretty much. All right, thank you guys for watching. We'll have the deck list up in a little bit, right after this. So go support Will. Add him on Facebook. I'm sure he'll love that. And thank you.
Help! I need friends.
Hey everybody, welcome to the gym. And you guys just saw our buddy William Herrmann talking about his finalist list. This is the list that he played at the Arizona Regional Championships to get a second place. As you can see that he talked about, he plays a lot of pretty standard normal cards. Nothing too funky in the list. The fact that he only plays one Lysander was a deck list error he stated on his part, but he gave him an extra energy, which he said, well, I guess, was better. But it's a pretty standard Trevenant break list. He talks about a little bit of his changes and some things he would make to the list. If you watched earlier, if you're just here for the list, what's up? So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Let Herman know you like his videos. Let me know you guys like this kind of thing so I can keep doing interviews, keep doing deck list profiles with regional top 8ers. Let us know if there's anything interesting, an interesting deck you'd like to let us take a look at. Please subscribe down below. We will be at Orlando Regionals. Herman will be there, so be on the lookout for him. And thank you guys for watching.